guys, welcome to my channel. Ellarie here. As you can tell from the title, this is the Fenty Beauty review, which has been one of the most requested reviews I've probably ever gotten. Sorry it took me so long. The party was a blur. There was a bar in the middle of the party. That's all I gotta say about that. So I walked out without a bag. I had to wait till my Sephora order came in, which it just did yesterday. I was so happy that she came out with such a diverse line, which is not usually the case when it comes to beauty launches. She's killing it right now. For the most part, I was happy with everything, almost everything that I use, and you guys will see that if you continue to watch. But first, make sure you guys subscribe, follow me on my social handles, stalk me, I don't mind. Then come back and see what I think about Fenty Beauty. So basically, I'm gonna try to use whatever I got in here to complete a full face. She didn't come out with any eyeshadow colors, which I'm kind of upset about, but I'm gonna use like hopefully some of the highlighters to create something soft and simple. So we'll see what happens here. Let's go, let's get started. So this is the Pro Filter Soft Matte Primer. So a good primer is really important. I feel like even using the same foundation, some primers will leave me a little bit more oily at the end of the day, and some will help me keep that matte look with like little blotting. So I probably won't have a full opinion about this until maybe a later video, or if you follow me on Snapchat, I'll let you guys know by the end of the day how it held up. Because some primers will say oil-free or mattifying, but I still feel like they don't really be doing that sometimes. So I'm just gonna let you guys know how this feels and smells in the meantime. As I'm applying it, it kind of just feels like I'm applying a lotion. I can't really put my finger on what it smells like, but it's really light. A really nice light smell, which I like. I can't see it. That's good. You know, some mattifying primers will give you that like light chalky look. I can feel that it's there, which for my primers, I like to feel that it's there because I know like my foundation is gonna adhere to it, but I don't like to be like super dried out or super oily or to like see that film. So my first impression of this so far is yeah, but follow me on Snapchat to see how it holds up at the end of the day, or I'll update you on the next video that I do. Moving on to the foundation, I was only able to grab the shade 420. It was the last brown shade they had. When I swatched in the store, it seemed like I was gonna be closer to 430, which is supposed to have red undertones, which is normally what I don't do, but it wasn't like an overpowering red undertone in it when I swatched it, at least. You know, you never know until you put it on your full face. But so I'm pretty sure if this doesn't work out for me, the shade up will, and I'll try to get my hands on it if I can. Just do this side real quick. So here's a side-by-side without the foundation and with the foundation, so you guys can get a sense of the coverage. For me, it's applied really lightweight, like it's not heavy or too thick, and it's giving me like medium coverage. It's not full coverage, but it is buildable probably to full coverage. I like medium to full coverage because sometimes full coverage is just too much. Like, I like to be able to build and kind of have like what I have going on right now, where it's not like overpowering, it's more on the natural but still giving me coverage side, you know what I mean? Maybe 430 isn't my perfect shade. This one actually matches perfectly. However, since I tend to like my foundations like a smidgilet darker, I'm still gonna try 430 when it comes back in stock to see if I like it at all or better, or you know, we'll see. I don't have really too many problem areas or dark areas for me to need like a full coverage foundation. So I tend to gravitate towards medium foundations, which I think this one is. And it's right up my alley. Like right up the alley. Now we're gonna try out this Matchstick Trio. It has a concealer, a contour, and a highlight shade. This is the only thing that I was like about, because I don't really like stick concealers. It's just not my thing. I like liquid or like squeezable creams or something like that. I don't really like stick concealers. I'm still gonna give it a try. Oh, they're like stuck together. Oh, I thought that was just for promotional when they showed them like stuck together. Like, I thought that was just a picture, but they actually do stick together. That's cool. I got Deep 400, which has Suede Espresso and Cinnamon. The Suede and the Espresso are the matte sticks, so the concealer and the contour shade. And then the Cinnamon is a shimmer skin stick, which I probably won't use because I'm sure you guys know by now if you follow me on my channel that I don't like shimmer sticks either. So this is how much you have inside. Not a whole bunch, but it is much lighter and thicker in comparison to the KKW sticks, which were skinty and short. This is normally like not a shade I would use. It's a little, I like mine's a little bit lighter than this, but I guess we're gonna be natural today. It happens sometimes, you know, on accident. It is very close to my skin tone, so you probably can barely see it. But I'm gonna just do this side first so you can at least compare to the side without. So this is clearly the side without the concealer. And then over here we have with. So the difference is pretty subtle, I think, because the shade is very similar to my skin tone, but you can still see the difference. So this side looks a little bit more brighter and awake, and you can't see any shadows. And this side, you know, you can see some shadows up under here, a little bit more creasage. Looks a little bit more tired over here, you know? And this one's a little bit more awake, which is what we want to look like. We want to look like we're awake. So let's try to do the rest of the face so we can really get a feel for it. It doesn't feel like I'm using a lot of product either, even though like it looks like I'm applying a lot. It doesn't look like too much is coming off on the stick. So that's a good thing too, because you're gonna get more longevity out of it as opposed to it just, you know, wearing down like some other sticks I've used. It's not super creamy either, which I don't know, I guess that could be a good and bad thing depending on like if you have oily skin or drier skin. I have like pretty normal skin, so I don't mind that it's like not hella creamy. As long as I got my coverage and I'm not looking dry under my eyes or chalky, then you know, it works for me. So I just did this side, forehead and chin, and my nose, and I'm already noticing in the mirror on this side that it's starting to crease, which is typically why I don't use stick concealers. They always crease on me. Like, I always get a little bit or a lot of bit of creasing when I use stick concealers, which is why I typically don't. So I am gonna try to set it before I do my contour to kind of stop it from creasing. So before I set the concealer, I'm gonna add a little bit more to get rid of that little bit of creasage that formed. And then I'm gonna use the Invisimatte blotting powder. It's universal, it's pretty much like a pressed translucent powder almost. And I'm gonna put this under my eyes with my beauty blender lightly, hopefully to lock in this concealer and stop it from creasing again. It does come with its own little blotting pad in the compacts, but I don't know why I like to keep these clean. Like, I hate messing these up. They look so pretty and it feels so soft, you know? But I would probably use this if I was like on the go, because the purpose of this is to like absorb the oils on your face, like when you're out and about, without giving you like the white cast, which I didn't even get, and I put like a shitload under my eyes and stuff. So it's pretty much like a more lightweight version of translucent powder. Let's see how this shows up. Like I said, this is the shade Espresso. I like this shade so far. This is about how dark I usually like to go with my contour. And I'm gonna blend this out with my beauty blender. And because the sticks aren't like super duper creamy, at least these matte sticks aren't, I'll do a test patch of the shimmer. You are gonna probably have to put a little bit more elbow grease in to blend them out, but I didn't have any problem blending. Like, it's still blended just fine. It's not oily, like it doesn't look like it's two different textures, even though I set under my eye. It's not looking like I just put like oil on my cheeks, which means that if I want to, I don't have to go over this contour with a powder, because as you can see, it almost still has the same finish as my under eye area, which I did use the powder on already. So I like that about it, because I don't like when, you know, I set under here and I use like a cream contour and it gives me that like oil creamy look, and then I have to go over it with powder. Because of the texture of these sticks, I can avoid that step if I want to, which I'm probably gonna do, because, you know, less steps is better sometimes, you know? And lastly is the shimmer Skin Stick in Cinnamon. It actually feels a little bit more creamy than the matte stick, which is to be expected because it's not matte. So this is what it shows up like on me. It's actually really pretty. It looks like a rose gold, like metallic little cream stick. You can use these type of sticks like as bases underneath your highlight or even underneath your shadow. But like I said, for me personally, I am not a huge fan of shimmer sticks. But as you can see, the color is really pretty. So if you do like shimmer sticks, either for bases under your highlights or by themselves, this is a really pretty color. They do sell these individually though, which is bomb because you don't have to worry about buying too much product or having stuff you don't really need. But yeah, I'm actually probably gonna put this on my eyes instead of my cheeks. So we'll see how that plays out in a minute. Now let's move on to the highlighters. I got the Girl Next Door Chic Freak Duo. I'll do a quick little swatch on my arm. So this one is called Girl Next Door. It has like some, it almost looks opal. It has like some reflective blue and purple. A little too light for me, but I pretty much got this palette for Chic Freak, which is a little bit more golden and warm, and I thought that'd be a really pretty highlight color. The other Kilowatt highlighter compact I got is the Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule duo. This one right here is Ginger Binge, and this one is Moscow Mule, which has a lot more shimmer in it. These actually look like they match pretty closely to this cinnamon shimmer stick right here. So if you do use this as a base on your cheeks or your eyes, these two colors will look really pretty on top probably, which is what I'm gonna try for my eye color a little bit later. Last but certainly not least, we have Trophy Wife, which is, oh my gosh, like one of the most beautiful shades I've ever seen. This is like the one I immediately gravitated to when I was at the launch. Like I was like, it is so pretty, even as an eyeshadow color, like a very, very, very beautiful color. Now this has a lot more yellow gold in it than I would normally gravitate to for a highlighter shade. But I just feel like I have to try it. Like, I don't know how it's gonna look on my skin tone, but we are about to find out because nothing is gonna stop me now, okay? I'm using this Smith 112 brush. I barely tapped in it and I have enough to start with. Oh, see? I barely tapped it, bruh. It is probably very easy to go overboard with this shade because I'm telling you, I just literally tapped it one time. But I feel like this is just enough for me and my skin tone. I feel like too much is gonna look too yellow. One time, literally. That is about enough. See, and I actually put more on this side on accident and I only tapped it one time. See, like this is too yellow for me because in certain lights, it's not gonna look shimmery, it's gonna look like girl. Because there's almost even like a little bit of green in it too, which is kind of funky, but when I look straight on, it's not really giving me the glow that it's getting when the light is hitting it. As opposed to this side, since it's really subtle, I can turn to the side and have the glow and look forward and you can't see like those undertones that make it look kind of funky on my complexion. So there is a lot of glitter in this baby, I'll tell you that. I'm gonna put the tiniest bit of Ginger Binge right in this area. I was gonna do Moscow Mule, but since this has so much glitter in it and Moscow Mule has a lot more glitter in it too, I feel like it'll be a little bit safer to use something that's a little bit more satin. Okay, now I'm just gonna do something really quick on my eyes. I'm gonna use just that cinnamon stick and kind of use that as a base on my lids. Just kind of lightly in the crease and more so concentrated on the lid. And you can kind of blend it out with a finger without any product on it. Then I'm gonna go right on top of that with Moscow Mule. And I'm also gonna add some of this Moscow Mule to the inner corners of my eyes. And before I add my mascara and liner off camera, I'm just gonna go ahead and add this gloss real quick. This, of course, is her Gloss Bomb. I believe the only one she came out with is in this shade Fenty Glow. I haven't tried or swatched this yet, but it just looks like it's gonna be great. So I'm pretty excited right now. Oh God, this smells so freaking good. It's very sheer, has like a little bit of shimmer in it, but not like overpowering. So it's one of those glosses that you can pretty much wear with any type of thing you got going on with your eyes. It's not sticky. Yeah, I love this. This is gonna be my new favorite. And it looks like it looked even bomber if you have on like a chocolate liner, which I'm not gonna do today because I want you guys to see like everything in its true form, but it's a yes. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna do my eyeliner, mascara, and then I'll come back with my final opinion. All right, so basically I'm just gonna go over everything that I used in the collection and let you guys know some of my personal pros and cons of each product. Starting with the primer, as I said in the beginning, I will probably give you guys my final opinion on this in the next video because I am gonna use it again. But my first impression of it by just applying it is that I really liked it. It was lightweight, it wasn't too thick or too dry or too watery. It was like just the amount of consistency that I like my primers to have for the most part. It was invisible, you didn't see any dry patches. It really applied really nicely. That's how I feel like I'm probably gonna end up really loving this, but you'll have to check back to see how it held up. But so far so good with this one. For the foundation, I liked this as well. Like I said, I like medium buildable coverage. That is good enough for me. Obviously it's gonna depend on preference and how much you really need to cover up. But this did exactly what I wanted it to do. It looked natural. I didn't need too much. The shade is actually perfect for me. This is once again 420. I am going to still try 430, so you guys will have to check back for an update on that and whether or not which one I like the best. But so far I like this shade, and I am using this again as well. Now for the trio sets. I liked the contour stick. This one, like I said, was in the shade Espresso. I love the way it blended out. I loved the shade. This is like gonna be my jam. I'm definitely gonna use this one again. Like I said, it's not super creamy, so you do have to like put a little bit more oomph in it when you're blending it out, but that was no problem for me at all because the finish matched perfectly with everything else I had going on, and I did not need to go over it with the powder, and I did not go over it with the powder. I love this, and I'm glad that they sell these individually because this is something that I would probably repurchase. The concealer, on the other hand, is something I probably would not repurchase. Even after going over it with the blotting powder, I still got creasing under my eyes. You probably can't tell on camera, but trust me, it's there in the mirror. It tends to happen with concealer sticks. That's just my experience with them. I may not have had as much creasing if I would have went over it with like more of a full coverage loose powder. But at the end of the day, comparing it to some of my other concealers like Max Pro Longwear, I don't even have to go over those with loose powders. It just locks in and stays there. So I wasn't a fan of the concealer stick personally. And the cinnamon shimmer stick, I didn't use it on my cheeks obviously, but I did use it underneath my shadow, and it looks really pretty underneath the colors that I use. And I'm not getting any creasing on the lids. I didn't even use an eyeshadow primer, so that's a great thing. I love the color, and if you're a fan of shimmer sticks on the cheeks, this is a really pretty like rose gold shade. So even though I probably wouldn't repurchase this again, I will still probably use this again underneath my shadows because it's a really pretty color. It really is. Now the Kilowatts Compact. I didn't really use this one, the Girl Next Door and Chic Freak. However, I do on a future look want to use this Chic Freak shade because I think that would have been a really pretty highlighter. Actually, I'm gonna add just a little bit more right now. Yes, I do. So I definitely would use this again in the future as a highlight on its own. Not really a fan of the lighter one. So in order to get usage out of both of them, I'd probably use the other one for some eyeshadow. But for the Ginger Binge and the Moscow Mule, this is a compact I probably would buy again because I love both colors. Even to use this one as a blush and this one as a highlight, or both of them as shadow colors, I can use both colors in this compact and they're both pretty. So I would buy this one again as well. Now Trophy Wife. This one is like a bittersweet one for me. I really love the shade. It is really a really pretty yellow gold. However, for me, it's really easy to go overboard with it. The glitter in it it's a lot. It looked really pretty on Rihanna though, so I'm like super jealous that she was able to pull it off so beautifully. But it's a lot of glitter in it, and you have to be really, see, I was just trying to subtly add it to my eyelids, and now I got a huge chunk of yellow gold on my eyelid, but whatever. It's a really pretty shade, like I said, and I feel like it's even prettier on lighter complexions. But for me personally, I feel like if you add like just a smidge too much and you're in certain lighting. In person, straight on, there's just something about the undertone in it that I'm not a huge fan of. And I kind of remember this at the party. Like I put a little bit on my cheeks at the party and then I took like an accidental selfie in my phone and I was like, what did I put on my cheeks? Like the angle just made it not look as beautiful as it does when it hits the light. But it is so pretty, and even with me saying all that, I'll probably still use it again, like a little bit in moderation. So you definitely want to try to swatch it, I would say, in your local Sephora before you're sold on it by anybody who just drowns themselves in it, because everything looks a little bit different on camera. Heavy makeup on camera looks a lot better on camera. So my recommendation would be to swatch it in the store and go in different lighting and see how you feel about it. Because it, like I said, it's really pretty, but it's not for everybody. Last but not least, I love the blotting powder. I'll probably keep this in my purse with the little sponge as well because it's not heavy. It really does its job as far as absorbing the oil, which is, you know, a lot of people's main complaint is how do you stay matte throughout the day. I usually blot with either blotting papers or a napkin. Most of the time it's a napkin because it just seems to suck up a lot more than the blotting sheets. But I'm gonna use this too as well. And you know, you don't run out of this as quickly as you probably will the blotting paper. I did try her blotting papers at the launch and I really like those. Some blotting papers have like a film on it or powder on it that comes off on your face, but hers were really thin sheets and it really was, you know, it absorb the oil without leaving anything on my face. This gloss is obviously a yes for me as well too. You don't have to pair it with any particular look. It'll go with anything and it's really, really pretty. So as you guys can see, there were some things I loved and not so much. I didn't get a chance to try her brushes, but you know, brushes can go either way. They did feel soft when I tried them at the store. The only one that I kind of gravitated towards and probably will eventually buy is her little compact brush. But other than that, my final recommendation is for you guys to go in Sephora, whether they have what you need or not, and just swatch out all the products, you guys. I'm just one person and everyone that has reviewed, I haven't seen any of the other reviews, but you know, it's all opinionated, so you'll get your own feel for everything if you just go to Sephora, take a little swatch, put it on your face, you know, really get a real feel for it yourself, because you might have a different experience with some of the products that I did. But my overall consensus is that I love the line. I can't wait till she extends it and comes out with more highlighter shades, hopefully more deeper golds this time. I'm really excited for her and I'm really proud of her, because for this to be like her launch, I think she did a freaking amazing on all of the formulas and the products for the most part. And I can't wait to see what else she does. Thank you so much, Rihanna and the Kendo team, for inviting me to the launch. Yay, Fenty Beauty!